What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's get started. A lot of MLB Playoffs action has happened since I last did this show. Last did it on Thursday, on Thursday. So I didn't even do a show Friday or yesterday. So let's backtrack a bit. National League Division Series Game 4. The Dodgers defeat the Phillies 2-1 in 11 innings. They pull it out. They win the series in 4 games. They head to the National League Championship Series for the second year in a row. Of course, they are the defending champs, and the 7th time in the last 10 seasons. Back and forth game. We had a little bit of a pitching duel throughout this game, but in the 7th inning, Phillies broke the ice with this double by Nicholas Castellanos.
Hot one, fair ball, hits the line, and in the score is Kepler. On his way to second goes Castellanos. He's in there. It's a double. The Phillies have grabbed the lead here in Game 4.
Big hit for Castellanos. He had a big hit in Game 3 as well to pull him within a run in the 9th inning. Or in Game 2, rather. Pulled him within a run in the 9th inning. They ended up losing that game. But big hustle all the way out from Castellanos. Gives him a 1-0 lead in the 7th inning. But bottom of the 7th, rather. Dodgers would load the bases. Phillies would go to their closer, Joan Duran, in the 7th after the starter got in a little bit of trouble. Christopher Sanchez got in a little bit of trouble in the 7th. And Mookie Betts would get on base.
2 outs. Runner started up, and it is ball 4. And this game is tied. It's a bases-loaded walk.
Hits the fastball high, ball 4, bases-loaded walk. Duran would get out of it from there, though. Still a tied game. We go to the 11th inning. Dodgers get a couple runners on. Phillies can make a pitching change, go from Jesus Luzardo to Orion Kettering. And with the bases loaded and 2 outs, just a brutal mistake by the Phillies leads to Andy Pages bringing in the game-winning run and sending the Dodgers to the National League Championship Series.
Straight. Pages breaks his bat. Kirkring gotta find it. Throws to the plate. Oh my goodness! He throws it away.
It was a brutal gaff from Orion Kettering. I would advise a lot of you watching to kind of pause the highlight I just showed about halfway through or so. Kettering does bobble the ball a little bit on the dribbler back to the mound, but if you watch, first of all, just like god-awful throws, not even remotely close to Realmuto. Remember, it's a force play, so he's not straddling the bag. He's playing it like it's first base because it's just a force. He doesn't need to tag anybody. Even if throws on target, I do not think the runner would have been out. I think he threw it late anyway. The runner, Pages, was only like halfway up the line to first base. He's right there. Throw should have went to first base. Even Realmuto was pointing to first base before the throw came home. Just a brutal eye for Orion Kettering. And as hilarious as it was to see the Phillies fail, can't stand Philly. Glad they're home. Any human being should feel for Orion Kettering. So that's such a brutal mistake that it's so bad that you feel bad for him. It's going to be a tough put his head on the pillow at night knowing that that led to the Philly season ending. Since that group's probably getting broken up, this is an older core. It's probably the last hurrah for them. They didn't even get to a National League Championship Series. Just tough break. Alton's not all on him. They didn't hit enough throughout the series. Besides Game 3, they only scored a grand total of like 7 runs in the other 3 games that they lost. That's the difference right there. Just horrid loss for the Phillies. And that's as close to Bill Buckner in Game 6 of the 86 World Series when the Red Sox lost to the Mets. They go on to lose Game 7 as well, as you can get. That's as close as it gets. So, Orion Kettering, man, that's just a brutal mistake to make there. But the Cubs would beat the Brewers 6-0 later in the day, Thursday night, to win their second in a row. That forces a Game 5 in National League Division Series. But before we got to that, we had another Game 5. Mariners and Tigers. The Seattle Mariners defeated the Tigers in 3-2 in 15 innings. The longest winner-go-home game in MLB history. 15-inning marathon. Seattle got on the board relatively early with Mitch Garver sacrifice fly.
Here we go. 2-2 pitch. Garver serves it out right center field. Long run from Meadows. He'll get there, but this will score Naylor from third. And the Mariners strike first in this game 5.
Josh Naylor, you are amazing. And what an at-bat by Mitch Garver.
One throw, one out. Deep fly ball gets the job done. But fast forward to the 6th inning, Tigers facing Gabe Spire, who had just come into the game with nobody out in the 6th. They pulled George Kirby relatively early after giving up the leadoff double in the 6th after 5 shutout innings, and Kerry Carpenter comes through.
These will be at bats against right-handed pitching.
1-0 fly ball right field. Deep, is it playable? Rodriguez going back, he's looking up, and it's gone! A home run! How about it? Kerry Carpenter.
2-run shot for Carpenter. He had a very strong year for them. A couple of big flies in this postseason. Big home run puts him up 2-1. But in the 7th inning, Leo Rivas comes off the bench for Seattle against the Tigers bullpen to give the Mariners, keep them in the game and tie the ball game.
Of his playoff career, and he lines one to the right field. Base hit. Here comes Polanco. Leo Rivas off the bench ties the game.
This place has lost its mind.
Game-tying pinch hit RBI single. Huge hit. Fast forward a couple hours later, all the way in the 15th inning, both teams had to use starting pitchers out of the bullpen in this game, facing a reliever in Tommy Canley. Jorge Polanco with the bases loaded and 1 out comes through.
3-2. Polanco sent it either way, and will send Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
Walk-off hit for Jorge Polanco. Incredible game. Seattle wins 3-2. They advance to the American League Championship Series. Their first playoff series win in 24 years. The Detroit Tigers fall in Game 5 of the division series for the 2nd straight season. On to the weekend. Game 5, Cubs and Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers win 3-1. They defeat the Cubs, defeat their arch rival and their former manager, Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell and the Cubs fall the Brewers. Brewers win 5 games. They advance to the National League Championship Series for the first time in 2018, with the same team that beat them in that season in Los Angeles Dodgers in the LCS. Cubs, very good year. They get back into the playoffs, won their first playoff series in, I believe, 2017 against the Padres a round earlier, but fall the Brewers in 5 games. They're a very good game. When they started first inning, William Contreras with a big fly.
Pomerantz deals. Fly ball left center. Crow Armstrong is on the move. He's running out of room. It's gone! William Contreras gives the Brewers a 1-0 lead on his 2nd home run of the series. The Brewers strike first in Game 5.
You see him hit the one over the wall. The bullpen catcher actually caught it. Both teams did a bullpen game, which was kind of shocking. And when winner go home games, the Cubs are starting Drew Pomeranz. Slow shot from Contreras, but the Cubs would answer right back.
Face Seiya Suzuki right out of the chute.
There's a high fly ball, deep right center, goes back as Perkins near the wall. That ball is gone. Seiya Suzuki with a home run, and the ball game is tied 1-1. It looked like a low fastball. He drove it over the opposite alley fence.
Couple of seconds side, Suzuki with a home run. He had a great series. He had a great postseason. Tied the game. But later in the game, Brewers would retake the lead.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Vaughn. The pitch. Shanna drive out to left. It is back. Happ at the track at the wall. Bye-bye baseball.
Andrew Vaughn hits that one off of Colin Rea. 2nd home run for Vaughn. Really strong end of the season for him. And that gave Brewers a 2-1 lead. And even later in the game, Bryce Terang for a huge insurance run.
So 2 outs, nobody on for Terang. Here's the pitch, and Terang, a fly ball to center. Crow Armstrong's back at the track. It is gone!
Bryce Terang, solo shot. Probably his biggest hit of his career, of Andrew Carriage. Again, PCA trying to rob the ball when it's like freaking 100 feet over his head. Kind of a funny visual. In the 9th inning, their closer, Abner Uribe, with a 6-out save, he would get a ground out to send the Brewers to the National League Championship Series.
Uribe deals to Carson Kelly, swinging a bouncer to short. Ortiz has it, and the Brewers are going to the championship series. They take 3 of 5 from the Chicago Cubs.
Brewers move on. Cubs heading home for the season. And then Sunday, game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Seattle Mariners defeat the Blue Jays 3-1. Really good game. Great outing from Bryce Miller in this one. Seattle takes game 1 in Toronto. We started this game. Toronto actually started off on a good note via George Springer.
In the top hitting team in baseball, which showed every bit of that in the division series. And on the first pitch, George Springer lights the fire.
Springer takes the first pitch. Bryce Miller throws all day. Over the right field wall, home run. Springer, what a great leadoff man he is, especially in the playoffs. How many leadoff home runs has he had in the playoffs? He might have a record, to be honest. I'm not even kidding. But this game will be 1-0 for a while. And Kyle Raleigh, the big dumper, MLB's home run king this season, potential MVP in the American League this year, goes deep off of Kevin Goldsman.
High drive right field. Kyle Raleigh has connected and tied the game in the 6th.
Goldsman had been dealing to that point. He was a pitch away from having 6 scoreless innings and only 71 pitches. But Raleigh go with a home run. Then he would walk the next guy, and then he could give up a double. They would take him out of the game. They go to Brendan Little, who would run into Jorge Polanco.
Gone in the 6th, the 3-2. Polanco rips one to left field, base hit. Rodriguez heads home, and the Mariners have taken the lead.
Rope to left field, RBI single. Polanco stayed hot. Another clutch hit for him. Gives Seattle a 2-1 lead, and then later in the game, Polanco comes through again.
Gone in a 1-run game. Polanco chops it right side and through, and Jorge Polanco has delivered again. 3-1 Seattle, and Polanco has driven in the last 2.
Infield halfway in, first and third and 1 out, 8th inning. It's Anthony Dominguez. Another RBI hit for Polanco. Another clutch hit for him. 3-1 Seattle picks up the win. And then last night, we had game 2 between Seattle and the Blue Jays. Seattle wins 10-3. They take both games at Rogers Center to start the series. They are up 2-0, heading back to Seattle. Got some more highlights to show you guys. First inning, Julio Rodriguez would jump all over Blue Jays rookie Trey Savage.
Here's his 1-2. Rodriguez hooks one in the air down the line. If it's fair, it's got a chance, and it's gone. Julio Rodriguez with a 3-run shot in the first inning.
Hanging breaking ball. Julio jumps all over it, keeps it fair down the third base line. Toronto would come back and tie the game at 3, but Jorge Polanco comes through again.
Shot to right center field. Varsho on the run. He's at the track. He's at the wall. It's gone. It's Polanco again. Jorge Polanco is owning October for the Mariners. He's given them a 6-3 lead.
He's going deep right center. 3-run homer. Jorge Polanco is on fire right now. Another clutch hit for him. This one, a 3-run shot. I didn't like how John Schneider handled that. You Savage. The line doesn't look great, but had pitched a lot better to that rough first inning. He gave up the hit to Rosarena. They walked Raleigh on purpose, and they took him out. And Louis Varman comes in and gives up a big home run. But Seattle wins 10-3, heading to Seattle. Dodgers Brewers game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Dodgers win 2-1. Great game. Blake Snell pitches an absolute gem. 8 scoreless innings. 10 strikeouts, no walks, 101 pitches. Phenomenal outing, one of the best of his career. 3.0 a .86 ERA in this postseason. Always been great in the postseason. I got 2.7 or 2.8. It might be even lower than that. Career ERA in the playoffs. I think he's got 14 or 12. I think 14 career games and 12 career starts in the playoffs. This game was scoreless for a while. It was almost not scoreless, but crazy play happened in the 4th inning. Brewers defense kept the game scoreless.
Break the ice here in game 1. And Muncy skies one to center field. Hit well. This one's got a chance. Freeland going back to the wall. He leaps. It's in and out of his glove, but he caught it. And now chaos on the bases. Might have a play at the plate. The throw. Not in time. No, he's out. He's out. It's a forced play at the plate. And he is out.
It's no catch. He hits the wall off his glove. And now it's a forced play at home.
Let's see. And the throw beat him. Yeah. So you're going to have bases loaded and 2 outs.
3 outs because Contreras ran to third.
He ran to third for another force.
For another force.
After review, the call in the field, the force out at home plate is confirmed. The runner is out. It's confirmed on the runner at third base when the force out is out.
Wow. Crazy play. So base loaded and one out. Monty hits one deep center. Freeman tries to leap and rob the extra base hitter, possibly a grand slam. It hits off of his glove, hits off the wall, and then he catches it. Because it hit the wall, it's not an out. Dodgers runners got confused, couldn't really see if he called it or not. So the runner at third gets a very, very late start. Remember, it becomes a forced play at the plate, so he was forced out, and then heads the play by Contreras to run over the third and tap third. Because remember, second and third was so confused. Dodgers, they got one now. First of all, that ball's hit that deep. Both runners should be tagging. The runner at third should definitely be tagging up. Even the runner at second, even if the ball is caught, you can still tag up and get to third base. Okay? So, and then I get you don't know if he called or not, but once you see him, once you see him corral it, at least then run. If you run right away like that, at least the runner at third could score. I don't think the runner at second kind of freezes and doesn't run. So I get it was a very odd play, but again, what you got, know the situation. At the very least, tag up, except not really tagging up, would have still led to at least getting one run. Bruce, but miraculous double play. Never seen something like that before. Yeah, the fourth scores, but Dodgers would strike first in the sixth inning.
A nice leaping catch. Freeman, a high fly ball to right. It is deep. Back on it, Churio. And Freddie Freeman sends one out of here.
Freddie Freeman facing Chad Patrick. Towering fly ball to right that sneaks out. Home run. It'll be 2-0 heading into the ninth inning, but Roki Sasaki, who've been great closing games for the Dodgers this postseason, ran into some trouble. They have a walk and a double. Second and third and one out. He would then run to Jackson Churio.
Churio, fly ball, center field. Pages on the run. He's got it. Both runners tag. Collins will score. The Brewers are on the board.
Fly ball center from Churio will be caught by Pages, but sack fly makes it 2-1. And for two walks from Saki and then a new pitcher, Blake Trinan would get the job done.
Trinan ready. Terang, a swing and a miss. And Blake Trinan closes the door.
Works out Bryce Trinan on the high fastball. Dodgers escape with a win, 2-1. Game 2 will be tonight. Before we get into a bunch of football, a couple of manager news in baseball. Mike Shildt, Padres manager, announced his retirement from baseball after 34 years of coaching and managing. He has retired. Of course, before the San Diego job, he was the Cardinals manager for a few years ago. They let him go. He eventually joins the Padres as the bench coach. Bob Melvin was fired 2 years ago. Shildt got promoted to the managerial job. Overall, I thought they did a relatively good job last year. They make the playoffs. You ended up losing to the Dodgers in the division series. Remember, you were up 2-0. Your offense goes cold those last two games. And this year, of course, you went all in at the deadline. You make the playoffs as a wild card and lose in the first round to the Cubs. It's a rough look. Definitely underperformance, but I always thought he's been a solid manager. Definitely a surprise. He is an older guy. Who knows? Maybe the Padres were kind of pushing him out, and they said, oh, he retired. Maybe he decided to take the year off, so they used the term retired. But Shildt did pen a letter to the Padres and then their fans saying that he retired. So he's out in San Diego. So you get another manager opening in baseball. The Phillies have decided to keep manager Rob Thompson next year. I was surprised by this one. I did think they would let him go. They've kind of come up short every year. This team, I assume, is going to look a lot different next year. I would have probably moved on just because I think, they haven't won with this manager. Maybe they can move in with a different one. Clock is ticking. Maybe they thought, this core just isn't going to get it done. They're going to make changes. Maybe Dombrowski will try and squeeze one more year out of them. I don't know. They figured Rob Thompson gives them the best chance to do it. You never know. You think, hi, Bruce Bochy. Bochy's 70 years old. Does he even want to manage next year? Will he take the job? San Diego will run Washington. Another manager who's been to the World Series before, hasn't won, but went twice with Texas and lost. You never know. You could fire him and end up with some, first-time guy you really didn't want, and you don't think gives you the best chance to win compared to Rob Thompson. So keeping him, I do think he's a good manager, has done a good job there. But I thought they would move on because they just thought, we have to do something. If we're not really shaking up the roster, then they gotta blame somebody for the reason why his core couldn't win. And I thought they would scapegoat Rob Thompson. Granted, I thought his decision making a couple times in that playoff series could have been better, but overall, he's a good manager. He's done a good job there. He's coming back next year. And then hockey, the Montreal Canadiens extend Lane Hudson, defenseman, 8 years, $71 million. Hudson's a bit of a unique player. Had a great year last year. He's really, really young. Last year had 66 points, including 60 assists. He's almost 21 years old. He's a excellent puck mover. Very undersized, so gets overpowered a little bit defensively sometimes, but overall, he's very fast, so that helps him. Overall, very good young defenseman. The Canadiens lock him down long term. So big deal for Wayne Hudson. Now let's talk football. College football recap. Week 7 of college football. The Friday night game. Number 24 USF beats North Texas 63-36. The Saturday slate. Number 1 Ohio State stays undefeated, beating number 17 Illinois 34-16. Number 7 Indiana beats number 3 Oregon 30-20 in a bit of an upset. Oregon. First loss of the year. Big win for Indiana. They are rolling right now, playing some great football. Mendoza, their quarterback, 20-31 for 251 yards and a touchdown. He's there to turn some heads. Indiana 6-0 on the year, 3-0 in the Big Ten. Number 4 Ole Miss beats Washington State 24-21. Number 5 Texas A&M beats Florida 34-17. Florida, they got here to Billy Napier. Look, I'm not saying losing to A&M is anything to completely sneeze at. They are a very good team. They came in ranked 5th in the country. They're undefeated this year. They're a good team, but that team is way too talented to be 2-4. It's ridiculous. They gotta get rid of Billy Napier. He's got to go next. Texas wins the Red River rivalry, beating number 6 Oklahoma 23-6. They're coming in on 2-loss team coming with a brutal loss to the Gators. John Mateer struggles for the Sooners, threw for just 202 yards and 3 interceptions. Rough game for him. Texas picks up a win. They try to work their way back into the rankings. Number 8 Alabama beats Missouri, who came in ranked 14th, 27-24. Great game. Alabama's now won 5 in a row. Kansas loses to number 9 Texas Tech. Texas Tech wins 4-17. Number 10 Georgia beats Auburn 20-10. Number 11 LSU gets back in the win column, beating South Carolina also by a score of 20-10. Gary Nussbaum throws for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. Number 12 Tennessee beats Arkansas 34-31. Number 13 Georgia Tech beats Virginia Tech 35-20. They remain undefeated this year. Haynes King, another good game. 20-24 for 213 yards and a touchdown. USC, bit of an upset over Michigan, 31-13. Then we had number 16 Notre Dame beats NC State 36-7. Number 18 BYU beats Arizona in a thriller 33-27 in double overtime. Remain undefeated, 6-0, including 3-0 in the Big 12. Utah pulls off maybe you could argue a small upset, being number 21 Arizona State 42-10 in a blowout. Colorado small upset over Iowa, number 22 Iowa State 24-17. And Florida State loses again, starting off 3-0, which included a win over Alabama in week 1, and back-to-back 7-point wins over after that against 2 very bad teams. Pitt beats them 34-31. Mike Norvell, it's your time. Florida State need to make coach changes right away. It's your time. It is time for you to go. Speaking of coaches that need to go, one has gone. Penn State from another brutal loss, this time to Northwestern, and they have fired James Franklin. James Franklin has been let go by the Penn State Lions. It was time. What a fall from grace to the guy who last year was one of the top teams in the country, was in the college football playoff, was in the semifinals. This year came in ranked top 3 in the country. I think it was ranked 2nd a couple of weeks ago. You lose a tough game to Oregon, another really good team in overtime, but then back-to-back just brutal losses. This one to Northwestern, who absolutely sucks. Back-to-back unranked losses. Just pathetic. The guy was 4-21 against top 10 teams in his coach career. He just could not win the big game. Overall, did a pretty good job. Penn State was a joke when he took over. He turned them into a good program, but just never could take that next step. A team that, it was a huge year for them. Last year, Drew Howard, the running back group comes back. Really good team on paper. In that Big Ten, we all know what Ohio State is. Oregon, we knew would be good, but Michigan, they're better than they were last year, but still a freshman quarterback. They won't be a national championship contender, most likely. Chance for them to possibly sneak into the Big Ten championship game again. And you're 3-3, back-to-back losses against underranked teams. Yeah, it's simply time. Full from grace from him in that program, but was simply time for him to go. And James Franklin is no longer the coach at Penn State. Moving on to the NFL, Thursday Night Football. The New York Giants beat the Eagles 34-17 on Thursday Night Football in a shocking win. Hurts, 24 of 33 for 283, touchdown, a really bad interception. Big game from Cam Skywell, ran for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns. Giants run the ball down Eagles' throat. They get to 2-4. Eagles are up to 4-2. Eagles have some issues. Jalen Hurts is showing his limitations when it comes to throwing the football. Obviously him and A.J. Brown appear to be butting heads a little bit. And defensively, this just is not the same team that it was last year. That secondary is not as great. Cornerback 2 is a major problem right now. Quinn Mitchell's a good slot guy, but that second guy, or Cooper DeJean, that cornerback 2, they got some injuries. Dory Jackson isn't cutting it. They may have to make a trade because that's a big hole on their defense. The pass rush isn't quite the same as it was last year. Also, you lost Josh Sweat in free agency, as well as Milton Williams. It just is not as good. You trade away Bryce Huff, so it's not quite the same. And there's something going on. Like the first 3 weeks, they were not passing the ball at all, but they were winning. They were running the ball down your throat with Saquon Barkley and company, as they should be doing. Pretty much what they did last year when they won a freaking Super Bowl. And and then the media starts like, they're not passing the ball. Can they throw the ball? Is this going to be a problem down the stretch? It almost seems like, they kind of let the media influence them. Now they've gone to a more pass-first offense, and their offense has regressed as a result. Let's say back-to-back weeks of only 17 points. They got shut out in the second half against the New York Giants, and I think it's a major concern. Not gonna lie, I think that is a major concern. Just run the ball. If that's how you win games, we'll run the ball. Who cares what the media thinks? But some concerns for that team. Giants win 2 out of 3 since they inserted Jackson Dart as their starting quarterback. He looked pretty good as well. Big win for the New York Giants. Sunday, we had a London game. The Denver Broncos defeat the New York Jets 13-11. Just a brutal game to watch. The Bumnecks for 174 yards and a touchdown. Jets lose. They fall to 0-6. They remain the only winless team in the NFL. I ranted about Aaron Glenn last week. I did not think I'd be this upset again. This guy flat out sucks. He is the worst coach in the National Football League. The guy is just a joke. What the hell was that at halftime? So 4th and 1 is like a little under a minute to go. About a minute or so left. You go for 4th and 1, which you got very lucky. Was a dead giveaway, putting Breece Hall and the entire starting offensive line out there. Just dreadful. And then you do a 2-yard run play, call a timeout, and do a short pass. And then I think, what was it, like an incompletion or something? You let the clock run out. Just brutal clock management. No wonder Garrett Wilson was chewing it out. I don't blame him. That was disgusting. Denver did everything they could to handle this game. They had a penalty that led to a safety. They were undisciplined all day. Bo Nix didn't play very well. They did not run the ball well. Justin Fields, he's also governed. To get to him in a minute. But at the end of the game, it's 3rd down. Was it 3rd and 8? Fields throws the ball late to Garrett Wilson. He falls down, incomplete. 4th and 8. It would have been a 62-yard field goal from Nick Folk. 62 yards is a long field goal. That is no gimme. He very well could have missed that. But your offense was historically bad, and you thought, let's not bring out our kicker, who's been kicking this league forever, hasn't missed a kick all year, one of the more reliable kickers in the league, and Nick Folk. And let's let this offense that has like 50 yards of offense the whole game try and convert a 4th and 8, and Fields gets sacked. What is wrong with you? How can you be this dumbfounded, okay? And Justin Fields, that guy sucks, okay? It's year 5. He took 9 sacks. A couple of them were on the offensive line, but a bunch of them were on him. This dude holds on to the ball forever. I could drive to Jersey and back, and this guy would still have the ball in his hand. That guy is horrible. He is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a bust. It's year 5. I like him coming out. Defended him for years, but I'm done defending this just clueless quarterback. He sucks. Okay, he is absolutely terrible. And Aaron Glenn, to complicate things, they asked him after the game, are you considering benching Justin Fields? Because, he had net negative 10 passing yards. I technically had more passing yards than this bum did against the Denver Broncos on Sunday. And then we said, what kind of question is that? What kind of answer is that? It's one of the worst answers to a question I've seen from an NFL coach. This guy sucks. The Jets got the hire wrong. Simple as that. They need to get rid of him. I'm sorry. He needs to be one and done. They cannot let this guy develop.
Hold of J.K. Scott.
The guy is a
Ticker's
joke.
kick online.
Mess up the hire,
good.
admit it, and get this guy out of here. This guy flat out sucks, and this team sucks. But Denver improved to 4-2. Colts over the Cardinals. 31-27. Another one from the Colts. Arizona did not have Kyler Murray in the game. He got hurt. Jacoby Brissett actually played pretty well. 27-44 for 320 yards on 2 touchdowns. Another big game from Jonathan Taylor for Indianapolis. Ran for 123 yards and a touchdown. Colts 4-1. Continue to play good football. And so dropped to 2-4. They are just, again, people try to tell me they're winning the division this year. I told those people, no, the hell they are not. But moving on, Chargers beat the Dolphins 29-27. Some late game heroics as the Dolphins took a late lead. Chargers end up pulling it out.
The hold of J.K. Scott. Ticker's kick online. It is good.
Relatively short field from Cameron Dicker. He nails it. Chargers pulling out 29-27. Get back in the win column. They're 4-2. Of course, they have so many injuries. Dolphins drop to 1-5. Might be damn. That guy just looks defeated. I think he knows he just doesn't. He's just not that guy. He knows there's nothing to do with this team at this point. He knows he's getting fired. He's just like, you know what? At this point, I don't even care anymore. That's the energy I get from him. He's a joke. Dolphins are 1-5, 2 after the game, saying like players are late to meetings. It is a joke out there in Miami. They need a complete reset. It's bad out there in Miami. Patriots over the Saints, 25-19. Drake May for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. Continues to play well. Saints, the referee actually helped them out well in that game. I hate to say it, but a lot of people were saying that the refs had money on the Saints. But Patriots pull out. They get to 4-2. They continue to play good football. Saints are up to 1-5. Steelers over the Browns, 23-9. Aaron Rodgers was for 235 and 2 touchdowns. So Gabriel did not look great. Would have thought that a rookie is not going to ever start against TJ Watt would not look great, but that's exactly what happened. Steelers are 4-1. Every year they find a way to get to the playoffs, and probably going to happen again. Browns are up to 1-5. The Panthers defeat the Dallas Cowboys 30-27. Back and forth game. Late field goal from Carolina. They get a stop. They win the game. Rigo Dallas, second straight game over 200 total yards. 30 carries for 183 yards against his former team. He told them before the game, he said, they got to buckle up, and they asked him about facing the Cowboys, and he called a shot, so kudos to him. He's been balling these last 2 weeks with trouble hovering out. He's a really good player. Big game for George Pickens. 9 catches, 168 yards, and a touchdown. But Carolina wins, and they are playing a lot better. 3-3 on the year. Carolina's dropped to 2-3-1. That defense is so unbelievably bad. Bomb for defense in football, if you ask me. It's unbelievable how bad that defense is. Seahawks beat the Jaguars 20-12. Sam Darnold was for 295 and 2 scores. Continues to play well. JSN at 8 catches, 162 yards, and a touchdown. They beat the Jaguars. Seahawks now 4-2 on the year. Jacksonville dropped to 4-2 on the season. Rams over the Ravens 17-3. 122 yards rushing for Derrick Henry. Cooper Rush played horrible in this game. He got bent for Tyler Huntley late in the game. Rams 1-5. They might be done. They got a bye this week. May get Lamar back coming off the bye, and they're going to need him. Their defense is depleted with injuries all over the roster. Obviously, Lamar's missed the last 2 games. They're 1-5. They can't stop anybody. Offense obviously misses Lamar Jackson. John Harbaugh's getting hounded by the fans. His coach staff overall, Zach Ward, the corner, is getting hounded by the fans. Yeah, Ravens, who I thought could go to the Super Bowl this year, but they're a legit team this year, not looking good. Not looking good. They're at 1-5. Rams pick up a win after losing 2 straight. They are now 4-2 on the year. The Raiders beat the Titans 20-10. Jimmy ran for 75 yards and a touchdown. Cam Moore 26-30 for 220 yards and a score. Rams get to 2-4. It's not a 4-game losing streak. Titans up to 1-5. Continue to look absolutely horrible. And they made a coaching change. Head coach Brian Kellen has been fired by the Tennessee Titans. He went just 4-19. Only 23-game stint. Did not even last a year and a half on the job. This is my thoughts on this. I thought Brian Kellen was terrible. I think he did a horrible job. I think Joe Burrow just made him look good as the offensive coordinator for the Bengals. I thought he did a terrible job. That being said, now, Mike McCoy, former Chargers head coach a while back, is now the interim coach. I assume they're going to have a different guy going to next season, which means Cameron will have 3 different head coaches before his second season even starts. That's how you screw up a quarterback. The Titans, also, you fire Mike Vrabel so that GM Ron Carver can pick his own coach. He brings in Brian Callahan. And you're ready, you fire Ron Carfin. You bring in a new general manager, Mike Borgonzi, fires Brian Callahan probably because he thinks, things are going south. I want to bring in my own coach. What a clown some Tennessee Titans have become. It's a bad organization. They're such a joke over there. Like Callahan, he was not a good coach. I never inspired a lot of confidence, even from the time he was hired until now. I mean, 4-19, I don't care how bad your team is, 4-19, that's just brutal. They're not even competitive. They be able to look competitive against the Raiders, who are god-awful. Plus 40% the previous week to the Colts, and they beat you. Only win you have was when Arizona choked the previous week. But you're not doing your rookie quarterback any favors. I mean, having him have 2 coaches in 2 years, if you fire him after the season, which would have had to happen, wouldn't have done many favors either. But just 6 games in, I don't know what this does. It either will somehow spark the team. Maybe they win a couple of games they shouldn't, and they'll lose draft position at this point because you're not going anywhere. Or they'll be so bad. I mean, they might go 1-15, maybe get the first pick. But just, I think the Titans would be bad. I think it would look this bad. But I don't know what they're doing over there. Titans are a complete joke. Packers over the Bengals, 27-18. Jordan Love for 259 and a touchdown. Good game from Josh Jacobs. Flacco looked a little better than Jake Browning. A pretty low bar. Looked better in the second half than the first half for sure. Bengals 2-4. People gotta realize that the team isn't good. People are like, going into the year, you're like, the offense should be really good at least. Like without Burrow, yeah, Jamar Chase made the best receiver in football. Team is really good. Chris Brown, I think, is good. He was great last year. All of a sudden, this year is a ghost. But the offensive line is brutal. They can't stop anybody. One of the worst defenses in football, which we all knew going into the year. We thought, Joe Burrow will be able to, kind of propel them. But with him gone, they're not going to be in contention when that guy comes back. He's missed 3 months. Lucky if he comes back by December. I think that season should be wrapped. But Packers get back in the winning column, 3-1-1 on the year. Bucks over the 49ers, 30-19. Another great game from Baker. Made this great throwing catch to Tez Johnson to give to extend their lead a little bit later in the game.
2nd and 11. Going for a big ball. Down the field. Got an open target. Oh, what a catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Tez Johnson has his first NFL touchdown and a magnificent flip to go with it.
Great throw by Baker. Great catch by Tez Johnson. I like this kid coming out. People were because he's so small. I thought this kid was really good in college. Liked him coming out. Great play by him. That guy is balling. He's got so many injuries on the offensive line. He's top back. Bucky Irving is out. Top two receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, are both hurt. And this guy is still dogging, throwing to almost nobody. What a great career turnaround he's had. Right now, he's my MVP. He's my MVP right now. That touchdown at 27-19, late in the third quarter. They ended up hanging on to win. 5-1 on the year before now up to 4-2. Chiefs over the Lions, 30-17 on Sunday Night Football because we had that fight after the game. Brian Branch was suspended for a game. Was kind of rage bait. Juju did blindside block him earlier on the game. However, you can't just go up and punch guy at the game. That just can't happen. But Mahomes was for 257 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rasheed Rice comes back this week. Chiefs start to get together. They're at 3-3 on the year. Lions are up to 4-2. Monday Night Football. Falcons beat the Bills in a huge upset. 24-14. Big game from Bijan Robinson. Ran for 170 yards and a touchdown. Had, I think, over 230 total yards in the game. Drake London, 10 catches, 150 yards and a touchdown. So this season is wild. The Falcons lost 30-0 to the freaking Panthers. They just beat the Bills. Top two teams in the league are probably the Bills and Eagles, and they both have severe flaws. Eagles from having a weak passing offense. They're not as good as they were last year overall. And the Bills, they aren't great defensively. They just simply aren't. Obviously, their receiving core could be better. So, been a wild year. And the Bears beat the Commanders 25-24. Game-winning field goal with time expires from Jake Moody, who's now their kicker. Pick him up by the Niners cut. He was so bad for the 49ers the last couple of years. But he made 40-plus yards during the game. He had one block, but 38 yards right down the middle as time expired. Bears win 25-24. They get 3-2. Commanders drop to 3-3 on the season. Finish things off. Going to talk some wrestling. The Crown Jewel was on Saturday. First match was Bronson Reed against Roman Reigns in a rematch from Clash in Paris where Roman Reigns won. Of course, the Browns took out Roman after the match. And an Australian street fight, which was in Perth, Australia, where Bronson Reed's actually from. Bronson Reed takes out Roman Reigns and wins the match. With obviously some help from Bron Breakker interfering. A lot of extracurriculars. Obviously, Jey Uso spears Roman on accident. Overall, a good match. You saw Roman start yelling at the Usos afterwards, saying, I don't want to see you guys until Christmas. So Thanksgiving should be interesting in the Annoy family. But Bronson Reed picks up the win. This Roman Reigns and Jey Uso storyline continues to get more and more interesting. Stephanie Vaquer defeats Stephanie Stratton to win in the Battle of the Women's Champions to win the Crown Jewel Championship. Absolutely right move. Overall, a solid match. Stephanie Vaquer absolutely deserved it. She picks up the win. Then the John Cena against AJ Styles. That was an amazing match. Pro wrestling at its finest. So many tributes with different moves in that match between both of them, from The Miz to Sting to Samoa Joe to Chris Jericho. So many. Amazing match. John Cena picks the win. Cena did a nice tribute to AJ Styles. We had Alicia Taylor read two all-time greats. Cena, obviously, his retirement tour comes to an end in 2 months. AJ Styles will be retiring this upcoming year. They hooked up to the match. It was a really, really nice tribute and a really great wrestling match overall. Yale Sky and Rhea Ripley defeat the Kabuki Warriors in the women's tag match. Great match. That was a really, really good match. One of the best storylines in wrestling. I think the two best storylines in wrestling right now are clearly Rhea Io and the Kabuki Warriors, and then Roman and the Usos. To me, those are the two best right now by a long shot. A very good match. In the main event, we had Seth Rollins against Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins with some cheap antics to win this match. He hits Cody with his own watch. From that match, great match. Something's definitely brewing there. Rollins picks up the win. Then Monday Night Raw. So off of a promo between Seth Rollins and The Vision. We had Dominic Mysterio against Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. Dom wins, of course, with he cheats a little bit and defeats Penta. Of course, he still have the Rusev thing going on. And Rhea Ripley against Kairi Sane. Coming off of the tag match from Crown Jewel. Rhea defeats Kairi Sane. Of course, Asuka was unhappy, slapping Kairi Sane in the face backstage. Then Bronson Reed against Jimmy Uso. Bronson Reed picks up the win, which did not make Jey Uso very happy. Then we had Bailey Lyra Valkyria pick up a win against Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez as Bailey's, I guess, I don't know, midlife crisis continued. I'm going to say. Then we had a triple threat match to determine the number one contender for World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. Also had a promo earlier. CM Punk picks up the win, meaning he'll fight Seth Rollins at some point. Here we go again. These two. Hopefully that's their last match. I'm tired of these two feuding. Been feuding since the dude came back from WWE. After Braun and Bronson Reed take out everybody. Bronson Reed turns on me. Braun Breaker spears Seth Rollins and turns on him. He tells Braun Breaker it's either me or him. Bronson Reed makes his choice. He tsunamis Seth Rollins. They tell Paul Heyman, you got to make your choice. And he obviously makes his choice. What a great ending to Raw. Happy we got a shake up. Very excited to see where this goes next. That was Monday Night Raw. All I got for you guys today. Till next time. So long. Have a great day.